What is going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden J here. What's going on, everyone? I hope everyone is doing extremely well. We saw that today at noon. MLB published the second phase of the MLB 2021 All-Star ballot. So pretty much the difference between the first ballot and the second ballot phase, which I did make my first phase in terms of the All-Star game ballot. So please check that out if you could. That was uploaded a couple weeks ago, I believe. Now, this ballot, pretty much we have three guys at each position, not including outfield. And pretty much you are going to be voting for who you want to start in the All-Star game. And the two guys, not including in the outfield, I repeat, will be alternates. Pretty much the All-Star game, we all know how I feel about it. I think it's awesome, but I will say the voting process, especially this year, really kind of was a joke. There's so many complaints I have with it. We will get into that. But I really believe it's really just a popularity contest at this rate. And there's so much more I could say about it. I guess just to stop ranting off, we'll just get into it. But pretty much, sadly, no New York Mets are on this list. My boy Pete Alonso sadly didn't make it, but he's still in the home run derby, so that's a plus. But there definitely are a ton of complaints about this ballot. But I guess stop wasting any time. We'll get into it. In terms of the American League, at first base, you got some talent. You got Abreu, Vlad, and Yuli Gurriel. But I'm going to go with my boy Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Definitely been having an MVP-type season. He has not been slowing down at all. Insane power. The dead ball means completely nothing to him. He lost a fair amount of weight this offseason, and it's really been helping with him. His athleticism, just overall, I've been loving what I've been seeing out of Vlad Guerrero Jr. Him and his dad, former Hall of Famer, similar stuff I've been seeing. So I would love to see Vlad Jr. in the All-Star game representing first base. In terms of the NL, sadly, my boy Pete Alonso is not on the list. But you know what? That's how the cookie crumbles at times. It sucks, but I'm going to go with Max Muncy. We did know he was hurt for a bit, but, he was still grinding and stuff, still doing well. He moved over to the first base position. As we saw, Gavin Lux did get the call up. So he was spending time at second prior. Now he is first base, and he's been doing very well there, no doubt about it. In terms of second base, we're going to go Marcus Semien. Marcus Semien, we saw the Blue Jays did pick him up this offseason to a one-year deal. They moved him from shortstop to second base, and he has been doing extremely well there since. Offensively and defensively, he's been pretty solid. Offensively, he's been exploding. That power, just everything's there. No complaints with Marcus Semien. In terms of second base with the NL, it's really tough because Jake Cronenworth isn't on here. I kind of find that to be a joke. But we're probably going to go with Adam Frazier, just because the Pirates, they're not really that great of a team. Adam Frazier is kind of one of the few lights to that team. Whether he'll stay with the Pirates, that's something. I believe he does have at least a fair long hitting streak going on. I don't believe that's still in effect, but he puts the ball in play. I've been loving what I've been seeing out of Adam Frazier, one of the few lights and colorful emotions for the Pirates ahead. In terms of third base, Yoan Moncada over J-Ram, I find is very silly. But in terms, I'm going to go Rafael Devers. As we see, Rafael Devers has been great this season. Alex Cora coming back is really helping these guys out. Offensively, he's been exploding. I know he looks like a kid in the profile picture that he has there, but he is a beast, no doubt about it. If Jeter Downs ever gets the call up, I would love to see those two guys on the side of the field together. In terms of the NL position at third base, it's really between Bryant and Arenado. Chris Bryant has cooled down a little bit off. His batting average, on-base percentage, and some of those stats have dropped a bit. But he's still looking good, no doubt about it. His offense and defense are still there. So I'm going to go Chris Bryant, no doubt about it. The Cubs are in such a good race right now in the NL Central. I think 3 or 4 games behind the Brewers. So that'll be something if they continue that race. In terms of shortstop, it's pretty interesting. The fact that Trey Turner isn't even on here for the NL, I find that a little embarrassing. But I'm going to go with Xander Bogaerts, like I said. Alex Cora is really helping out this team. Great stuff out of him. I think he is probably a great shortstop. I'd say if his defense picked up a little bit, then he could definitely be an easily top shortstop. In terms of the NL Shortstop position, I would love to see Trey Turner on here, but I'm going to go with my boy Fernando Tatis Jr. He's absolutely an MVP candidate. No doubt about it. He's one of the faces of baseball so far. He hits for average. He hits the ball hard. He has speed. He pretty much is everything that you would want in a baseball player. I will say his defense isn't that great. He, I believe, does lead the league in errors, sadly. But if he gets that defense down, and in terms of throwing and stuff, he could really automatically be definitely a top shortstop no matter what. In terms of catcher, I think the fact that Martin Maldonado was on here over Sean Murphy really says something. I would assume they were basing catching off of defense, I would assume. So I'm going to go with Yasmani Grandal if they're basing it off of defense. I think he is one of the best defensive catchers in the league. And in terms of the NL, I'm going to go Buster Posey. As we saw, he did opt out in 2020. There was a question if Joey Bart would remain or if it would be Posey. Posey came back, and he was showing that 2010, 2011 prime Posey, and he hasn't turned back really since. In terms of the outfield, it's a little bit different. You will select 3 guys, and the rest will be alternates. So pretty similar, just 3 extra picks. Kind of tough. Brantley's been good. Buxton's been good, but he's hurt. Obviously, I'm going to go Cedric Mullins. Definitely one of the few underrated players. He plays for a small, team that's not performing well. As a Mets fan, I remember there was that Mets and Orioles series a couple of weeks ago. He killed us no matter what. I'd say the dude at least drove 6 RBIs in 2 games. He was unstoppable. He makes some great web gem, catches in the outfield, automatically wizard with the glove. So he's my first one of the picks I have. The rookie Adolis Garcia, no doubt about it, one of the few lights for the Rangers. We know that the Texas Rangers have had their struggles and still are, but I would love to see Adolis Garcia representing the Texas Rangers in the All-Star game. And then obviously the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Trout. You got to vote for him. I know I was saying popularity contest, and I guess I'll fall innocent to that. I'm going to have to go Mike Trout. I know he hasn't really been playing a whole lot. He is hurt. Hopefully he's back for the All-Star break. If he's not, I'm just going to vote for him no matter what. But in terms of if it isn't Trout, I'd probably go with a guy like Alex Verdugo or Teoscar Hernandez or even a guy like Aaron Judge. But in terms of the outfield for the NL, we're going to go Ronald Acuna Jr. He started off the first 2 weeks amazingly hot. Everyone was saying, he's going to smash 70 home runs. I don't think he's on pace for that, but he has some nice pop in his bat. Kind of like Tatis. He has that overall anything you want in a player. Strong athleticism, speed, great pop with the bat, just everything that you want to see in a player. So Ronald Acuna Jr., no doubt, all of his stats are just gorgeous to observe. Definitely one of the faces of baseball. And then I guess we're probably going to go Juan Soto. We know his defense isn't all that great. I think he was transferring from left field to right field. But he has some pop in his bat. I know he's nicknamed the Childish Bambino. But Juan Soto overall, the Nationals have been having a tough season to an extent so far, and Trey Turner did get robbed from the All-Star ballot. But we're going to go Juan Soto. Loving what I've been seeing out of this dude. And then it's kind of tough. It's kind of a toss-up between Winker and Castellanos. But I guess I'm probably going to do something that analytical people hate and just base it off of the numbers. I'm probably going to go Nicholas Castellanos. So pretty much, and then of course we have the DH. We have Jordan Alvarez, JD Martinez, and Shohei Ohtani. I'm not sure if Shohei Ohtani would pitch during it. I suppose you could have him pitch and then hit. I don't, it's never really been a thing before. But we're probably just going to go Shohei Ohtani. The dude has a sub-2 ERA and then, goes around and hits 25 home runs. Who else does that? So pretty much this is my ballot. We have Vlad Jr., Marcus Semien, Rafael Devers, Alexander Bogaerts, Adolis Garcia, Cedric Mullins, Mike Trout, Yasmani Grandal, and Shohei Ohtani. In terms of the National League, Max Muncy, Adam Frazier, Chris Bryant, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ronald Acuna Jr., Nicholas Castellanos, Juan Soto, and Buster Posey. So that is my ballot for the All-Star game in terms of these starters. I hope you all enjoyed that very much. Please let me know in the comments, do you guys agree? What do you disagree with? What do you agree with? What would you change? I'd be very interested to hear what you guys have to say. And what do you guys think about, the All-Star, voting process? Do you think some of these picks were fair? Do you think some of them were popularity contests? Let me know. I would be very intrigued to hear. That is all I really have to say. Till next time, baseball fans, see ya.